Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, Senior Pastor of New Life Christian Center, located at 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware. If you are ever in our area, we invite you every Sunday to come and worship with us. Service begins at 10 a.m. We invite you to come and experience a better quality of life. And if you're not in our area, we invite you and welcome all of you into our virtual sanctuary when we go live with the Sunday sermon at 10:45 a.m. Wherever you are across the U.S. and wherever you are around the globe, we invite you to tune in. And of course, we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And of course, our broadcast 3D is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue supporting the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com, NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, and those of you that use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, and those of you that are now using Zelle on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. We thank all of you for your commitment and for your support as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I just want to say to all of our listeners and viewers who were tuned in on Sunday in our virtual sanctuary, we had a glorious time in worship. On Sunday, we celebrated National Women's Month, and we had a wonderful time. We just celebrated women, and we had a banquet following the Sunday morning service. So it was just a good time for everyone to spend time together and to fellowship. So anytime we're having something like that, we don't want you to miss it. We want you to feel free to come worship with us, celebrate with us. It's always a good time, and we want to make sure that everyone enjoys themselves in the presence of the Lord. And I also want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, if you know anyone who's in need of food, feel free to have them contact us, or you can contact us, and we will make certain that they have the food they need. We have our New Life Food Source Pantry. If you need information, just contact us on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. And of course, we want you to stay connected with us throughout the week. So we are about to come up on 2 years of celebrating our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com, where we play music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you. So stay tuned in on our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your sister is married to a man, you said, who is very nice. He said he's quiet. He's a great husband and father. And you said, however, your sister continuously tears him down in front of other people. And you do not want her to destroy her marriage. And you want to know, how can you get her to be more aware of what she's doing to her husband. So let me begin by saying this. I read your communication thoroughly, prayed over it. I will tell you that your heart is in the right place. You're not, there's nothing else going on except your concern for your sister and her marriage. So I will say to you, godly counsel is always the right way to go. You're not judging her. Your sister is who she is. You understand what you're dealing with. But now let me say this to you. You need to have a conversation with your sister. She may be a little defensive, but you need to have a conversation with her. And remind her of how nice her husband truly is. How he's a great husband and a great father. See, sometimes what happens in marriage is that people not only take one another for granted, but sometimes they forget how valuable the other person truly is. And what I mean by that is she forgets how nice he is. She forgets that he's a great husband. She forgets that he's a great father because that's what she expects him to be. Expectations are great, but lack of appreciation will wear away and erode their marriage, because it's not that she doesn't respect him. It's not that she doesn't understand that he's a good man. It's just that in her mind, that's her expectation, because that's who she married. But godly counsel would say everyone's not going to be that way. Everyone's not going to be who he is. Everyone's not going to be as nice as he is. Everyone's not going to be a great husband. Everyone's not going to be a great father. You have to remind her that he's someone that should be appreciated, and he is someone that she should really celebrate, in the sense of, even though that's her expectation, he doesn't have to be that. And certainly she can't tear him down, whether it's in front of other people or if it's just in private. Because often what happens to people is they get beat down so much that they can't thrive and be the best version of themselves. So your responsibility, and I'm going to say this to you because you're concerned about her marriage being destroyed, but you also have to remind her that she can destroy her husband. And if he becomes destroyed, then it will destroy the marriage. So the goal is to encourage, not beat him down, not tear him down. And here's, if she's tearing him down in front of other people, she's tearing him down in private also. So you have a right to be concerned because it's your sister. You have a right to be concerned about her marriage because it's your sister and your brother-in-law. And they have children. So if she's going to tear him down in private, that means that the children are going to lose respect for him also. They're going to look to her for every answer when he has answers for them. So marriage is very complex because you've got two people who have brought their own personalities into the marriage. That's the first thing. And then not only have they brought their personalities into the marriage, they're bringing their life experiences into the marriage. So it could go as far back as what they've seen their parents do to one another. So the fact that you're concerned is a good thing. Sit down with your sister and have a conversation with her. You can take her to lunch and have a conversation with her, or go to dinner. Her husband won't mind. Go to dinner with her and have a conversation, give her godly counsel, and share with her the importance of building him up, not tearing him down. Share with her the importance of, really recognizing, celebrating her marriage in the sense of, you've got a husband who's a nice guy. You got a husband who's a great husband. You got a husband who's a great father. Celebrate that. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying she's got to stand on a rooftop and cheer for him. What I'm saying is, applaud what the accomplishments that you both have made along the way, instead of complaining about the accomplishments and then beating him down or tearing him down. This isn't perfect. That isn't perfect. Well, life's not perfect. But overall, they have a great quality of life. There's going to be ebbs and flows in everyone's life. But she's got to recognize that the life she has is better than the life she had. This is for all of our listeners and viewers, particularly those of us who are married or in relationships. Okay. You got to think about what life was like BC, before Christ. You got to think about what life was like before today. And you don't have to dwell on it, but you've got to appreciate, you've got to applaud, you've got to celebrate the victories instead of complaining about the victories. Because where you are right now is not where you were. Life is so much better for your sister now than it was before she got married. Life is so much better than what life was like when she was a younger person. Life is so much better than when she was a child. Because the goal is to keep growing and becoming the best version of ourselves. And if she's constantly going to tear her husband down, he's never going to become the best version of himself that he could possibly become. And that's what we should all be striving for, is to become the best version of ourselves. Not just the version we are, but even better version. And if the version of you today is very good, you still want to become better. And she's not allowing him to do that because she's tearing him down. And so eventually that will erode the marriage and destroy the marriage instead of blessing the marriage and becoming a better marriage, a great marriage. It's the mistake that we all make or many of us make because of our expectations and because of the life experiences we bring to the table. And if life were better, certainly not better if you're in Christ now, but if you had a different version of life, and now life looks different because you're in a different place. You're married, you have children, which you didn't have before. It's just different. It's not better. But then you get to build on this, what's better now. And you get to become what God purposed you to become. So I would say to you, just have a conversation with your sister. Sit down with her. Have a great conversation with her and give her godly counsel. And bring up her level of awareness. Because if she continues going down the path she's going right now, of constantly tearing him down, she's never going to experience the best version of him that he could possibly become. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. we will move you into our queue so that you may have the opportunity to become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. However, before I do that, this segment of the broadcast is going to be brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. I'm in Charles Tyrwhitt attire today. And if you are not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. And right now, if you order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com, you can receive 3 high-quality cotton shirts for $99. 3 high-quality cotton shirts at $99. That's an over $200 savings at Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. And the White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at the retail store. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you are not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. And right now you can receive 50% off on certain items from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. So I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you are having a vow renewal this summer, and you are concerned about the guest list for the reception because every time you have something, people respond and say they're coming, and yet some do not attend, and it ends up costing you money, additional money, because you have to pay for each head, and if they don't show up, it's a waste. So let me say this to you. First of all, congratulations on having your vow renewal and your reception. Okay. So if you said every time you have something, people RSVP, and then some of them don't show up. Here's the reality. That means you know the people who show up and the people who do not. Stop inviting. There's 2 things that you can do. Stop inviting people who you know are not going to show up. And if they ask you why you didn't invite them, you had something and didn't invite them, explain to them. I've invited you previously, you RSVP'd, you didn't show. So I figure you're probably not going to show anyway. But the other thing is, if you're going to invite people, you just have to invite people on the list that you know are going to attend. Spend your money, whatever you're going to spend it on, you live with the results. Whoever's coming, they come. Whoever doesn't come, they don't come. Don't focus on the joy of what you're doing and not on the cost of what you're doing or the waste because someone doesn't show up. And then every time you have something, just invite the people you know are going to come. Now if it's a one-off, that doesn't mean they're not going to come. You know the people in your life. But if it's people who, and I'll use this term, people who get a better offer, meaning they were going to come to your reception until they decided they wanted to do something else. Another offer came along and they decided, oh, I would rather do that. You don't have any control over that. So you can either not invite them or you can just live with the fact that they're not going to come. Even if you reserve a place for them. But you also have to teach people how to treat you. So if you said every time you have something, it seems like they no-show. They tell you they're coming, they no-show. Well, you got to know that if it's not a one-off and it's a regular occurrence, you have to conclude they're not going to come when you have an event. They're just going to tell you they're coming. And your response is, when they hear that you had something and they ask you why they were not invited, you then just have to tell them, I've invited you to 5 other events. You didn't make one of them, which tells me that you're just not interested in attending events that I'm having. You just got to tell them that. And you don't have to make it an issue, but you just have to explain to them that's why you weren't invited. Because if you keep inviting people who don't come and it's costing you money, and what I mean by that is it's costing you a spot at a table and food for them, then you just shouldn't invite them, because they're not coming anyway. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to come. And what you said in your communication is every time you invite certain people, they respond that they're coming, they don't show up. That's an issue, because that means that they're responding to you just in case they don't have something else to do. They're really not, they'll only come if they don't have something else to do. They don't need to be, let me rephrase that. They don't deserve to be invited, because they've been wasting your money for years. So there's no reason to invite them. Someone else can take that place, or you just don't, you eliminate that seat at the table. Because if someone is going to respond and not show up, they're not showing up because they've got something else they would prefer to do. Every time they get a better offer, or they want to do something else that they want to do and not what's important to you. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. So if you are in the market for a high-performance automobile, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com. You will have the opportunity to virtually build out the Porsche you desire to own. And if you are in our area, you can simply go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Didio, who's the general manager at PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone assist you in selecting the Porsche you desire to own. And if you are in our area and you currently own a Porsche and are just in need of service, go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Adams, who is the service manager at PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone schedule an appointment for you. They will pick up your vehicle at your home or office, drop off a loaner vehicle to you, and return your vehicle to you when your service has been completed at PorscheDelaware.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your father remarried and he has 3 daughters. There's a little error on your communication. So your mother remarried and your stepfather has 3 daughters, who are adults. And you said they always want to spend time getting to know you, and how can you make them leave you alone? So here's what's really interesting. There's a couple of things that you have to unpack here. So it was your mother who got remarried, and it was just you and your mother. But your mother got married, and now you say you have a stepfather. I will tell you this. You really have to change your language. Because when you have someone you consider to be a stepfather, what you're saying is you want them to take a step back from your life. You don't want them involved in your life because they're not your biological father. But the reality is, and you said you're a teenager, you're about to graduate from high school, you're 17, you're struggling with, and you said your mother said that it's okay for you to send in this communication. So let me say this to you, because we're adults here, and you're going to watch this afterwards because you said your mother told you can send us in, and she's going to go over it with you later today. You'll watch the broadcast. So, okay. So you are asking someone to take a step back because you call him a stepfather. But the reality is, he's going to be a part of your life now. He's married your mother. He's going to be a part of your life. You're in school right now. But when you come home today and your mother watches this with you, your mother's tuned in today, so she's going to have you watch this with her. You got to understand that now that your mother married someone, he becomes the father figure, not a stepfather, but a father figure in your life. And he has 3 daughters who they're young adults. They're young enough that now they want to spend time with you. So now in their mind, they've got a little sister. And you, in your communication, your mother helped you with the communication, but she did mention the ages, and they're young adults. So they want not to just get to know you. They want to be a sibling to you. You say they want to get to know you, but they're really not trying to just get to know you. They're trying to embrace you. They're trying to be a part of your life. So you were saying to your mother, they're checking in on you. You think they're checking up on you, but they're not. They're checking in on you is exactly what they're doing. They're calling you, they're texting you, trying to take you shopping, trying to go out to lunch with you, trying to include you in their life. And you got to remember this, you're being blessed because, at 25, 28, and 30, they don't have to do that. They have their own lives. But they're trying to include you. They feel like they've got another sister. And the question you have to ask yourself is, why is it so important to you to be left alone? I get it. It was you and your mom. You were living life. But life wasn't so spectacular after the divorce. Now you get a chance to have it all and to have a do-over. Not just your mom, but now a father figure and 3 sisters, 3 siblings. And they're willing to embrace you. Don't isolate yourself from them. Embrace what they're doing. Embrace the fact that they want to spend time with you, because there's going to be times when they get busy and when you go off to college that you're not going to be able to spend time together. So they're trying to get it, form a bond, connect with you before you go off to college, and they're going to want to stay connected with you while you're in college. And you're going to need that because you don't understand what it's like to be away from your mother. It was just you and your mother. But now you have other people in your life who are willing to love you, who are willing to embrace you, who are willing to bond with you, who are willing to be an active presence in your life. Everyone doesn't get that opportunity. You have the opportunity to go from being an only child to being a child with siblings and adult siblings who are not just trying to figure out life. They're adults who are functioning. So they're not teenagers trying to figure it out. They're adults who can help you figure it out. But you've got to embrace it. You've got to open your heart and open your mind to allow them to be a part of your life and stop resisting the opportunity to be embraced. Today's Daily Divine Direction 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door.